world, and how that impacts people financially, and how it impacts you on an individual level, on a national level, and on a global level. So why wouldn't you want peace throughout the world?
Well, and I'll tell you who it matters to the most is, these people that live in Rwanda. Now, remember, we have largely accepted and welcomed those from the continent of Africa, whether it is Somalia, whether it's, and you're talking about the murdering of Christians in Nigeria. So it's in our interest to try to help these people secure peace on their homeland, so that we're not having to open our doors and just welcome people into our country that potentially might not want to see our country succeed. Take a listen to the Rwanda president himself. Take it from his ears. Here you go.
Biggest vote of thanks goes to President Donald Trump. No one was asking President Trump to take up this task. Our region is far from the headlines. But when the president saw the opportunity to contribute to peace, he immediately took it.
We can bring it back, Krista. Basically, and listen, I'm going to get a little scriptural on here. A lot of times people do these things because they want to do good and they don't seek to have a headline. You heard the president of Rwanda say right there that this is not something that anybody put on Trump's radar. It was something that's largely unreported. He's not grabbing headlines by doing this peace deal either. But it was the right thing to do.
Absolutely.
And when you have somebody that's well respected across the globe, revered even.
Yes.
When he steps in to help you negotiate a deal, it carries weight, right? That is a part of the art of the deal, is making sure that you're widely respected and somewhat feared so that people know that you're not playing.
I agree. I agree.
Well, we're going to hear Marco Rubio now as he discusses the funding of NGOs. He's saying, listen, if we're going to go over, we're going to help these countries. Why do we give money to the NGOs, the non-government organizations, and assume that they're going to do the task of helping these countries? Why not give it directly to the people of the country? You're not wrong. Take a listen.
Why are we hiring American and international NGOs to go into other countries and run healthcare systems that are parallel and sometimes in conflict with the healthcare systems of the host country? If we're trying to help countries, help the country. Don't help the NGO to go in and find a new line of business. And so that's what the model that we're breaking. We're not doing this anymore. We are not going to spend billions of dollars funding the NGO industrial complex while close and important partners like Kenya either have no role to play or have very little influence over how healthcare money is being spent. Bottom line is, if you want to help a country, work with that country, not work with a third party that imposes things on that country.
You know what this reminds me of? You know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of two things. It reminds me of education savings accounts, and it reminds me of individual health savings accounts. Okay, so what happens when you remove funding from a giant organization that does not actually influence or help do what they say that they are going to do, like the Department of Education, and how we saw over the last, 5-10 years, and how they've completely crippled our education system. It's been absolutely insane how that trickled down into our local municipalities, right? And they didn't educate our children. They indoctrinated them. They tried to change the way that they thought about life, the way that they thought about culture, the way that they thought about themselves. And it led to more dangerous outcomes for our children. Now, the same thing goes true or holds true for the medical industrial complex.
Absolutely.
We have, as Marco Rubio is talking about, we have NGOs that are working to do, different medical modalities that may not, be aligned with what the country is trying to do or the infrastructure that they currently have.
Absolutely.
And we're kind of seeing that here in America with the medical industrial complex, where we have the pharmaceutical cartel, and they're trying to completely put their tentacles in everything because of all of the money that they're able to recruit because of their faulty medical things, whether it's pills or vaccines or cancer treatments or whatever it is.
Yeah, I love that he's talking about, letting a country decide what they want to do and how they want to govern when it comes to their health care. You know what I would like? I would like to get foreign interest out of our healthcare system.
Thank you.
I would like to get the medical industrial complex, the pharma industrial complex, out of our healthcare system. And so while I love what Marco Rubio is saying here because he gets it, we get it here on this side too. Many people, many families throughout our country are still being gaslit when it comes to vaccine injury.
Yes.
Many people in our country still, when they go to a pediatrician's office, feel like they're being asked to almost like they're being a bad parent because they don't want a needle put in their child's arm. Every parent out there remembers the first time you were a parent and you went into the pediatrician's office and they tell you, you know what, when you introduce solid foods, do it one at a time just to judge for any kind of allergic reaction that you may have. But yet you can jab sometimes 5, 6 different ingredients into a child's arm under the age of 3, and you're telling me that doesn't have, where's the medicine in that?
Right.
So we would also like to see the same system affected here.
You know what? I'm kind of glad that you said that, because I want to just bring this up to our audience's radar. There's an ACIP meeting where it's held by the CDC. It's the meeting where they talk about and approve vaccines or different medical modalities there. Right. And Bill Cassidy, who is a MD, said this about one of the investigators that gave testimony yesterday. So the ACIP meeting is about 2 days. We're in our second day. You can go to thehighwire.com or children'shealthdefense.com or on X and follow their live stream.
Absolutely.
But Bill Cassidy said Aaron Siri is a trial attorney who makes his living suing vaccine manufacturers. He is presenting as if an expert on childhood vaccines. The ACIP is totally discredited. They are not protecting children. Now, this is what the answer was from Siri, and I absolutely love this, and thank you for giving me the time to say it.
Yes.
Senator Cassidy, your tweet is deeply ironic, given that I cannot virtually ever sue vaccine companies for vaccine deaths and harms because of the National Childhood Vaccine Injury Act of 1986.
Wow.
Childhood vaccines are the only product in America where you cannot ever sue the company that killed or injured your child on the basis that the company could have made the product safer. If vaccines are so safe, why do they need this protection? And while I don't make a living suing vaccine companies, representatives of vaccine companies regularly speak before the ACIP to increase sales of their vaccine products. Yet, I have never heard you take the issue with those presenters. Under your logic, in deciding upon a new car, one should only listen to car companies and salesmen, but not consumer advocates like Ralph Nader, who sought to make them safer. Right. Since you want to engage with me publicly, let's make it substantive. Bring your evidence and let's have a long-form public debate where we each get 10 minutes to go back and forth on each major vaccine topic. Will you agree?
This is part of the discussion that we've had, Allie, where we're seeing even within, RFK Jr.'s attempt to right the ship.
Yep.
You've got people inside because it's a multi-layered cake and it ain't delicious.
Right.
They're trying to stop. It's like a moat around the system that's trying to protect itself. So you have to remember that even though we have these wonderful people now serving in these the administration, that doesn't mean that the fight is over. It doesn't mean that the accountability ends. We've got to make sure that those that seek to kind of protect the system, that they're also outed. And you can keep it locked here because we're not going to let that discussion go by the wayside.
Never,
Guys,
never.
We do need to go to a quick commercial break where you're going to learn how you can support the open mic ladies by just giving a cigar to somebody that you know, that you love, that you respect this holiday season.
And they have a 12 Days of Christmas cigar box I think you're going to love. All right, we'll be right back after this.
From the heart of Marietta, Georgia, comes a tribute to the spirit of liberty. Liberty Cigars, where history meets craftsmanship. Each cigar tells a story. The Founders Collection honors the visionaries who shaped a nation. The President's House Collection celebrates the leaders who steered it. And the Naval Series salutes the heroes who defended it. Handcrafted with precision, each blend mirrors the essence of its namesake. From the boldness of George Washington to the elegance of Thomas Jefferson. Indulge in a moment of reflection. Light a Liberty cigar and savor the legacy. Discover your story at libertycigars.com because every great nation deserves a great cigar. Liberty Cigars, smoke the history. And don't forget to use promo code OPENMIC for 10% off your order.
welcome back to Open Mic with Allie and Michelle. We're so glad that you guys have joined us, and thank you for sticking with us through some of the glitches. Listen, when you carry a message that's loud and proud and really unapologetic, you never know what you're going to encounter during a live stream, so we're thankful that you guys buckle in and keep it locked here. Allie, we talked last week and largely a little bit this week about the mismanagement of Minnesota taxpayer dollars. It doesn't surprise me that it comes from Ilhan Omar's district because, well,
not at all.
What are you
not
gonna
at
get?
all.
But now, after even the Minnesota Department of Health came out and said, "Listen, we've tried to tell our governor Tim Waltz." Tampon Tim. They've come out to say, listen, here's what's happening. We're money is being sent by Medicaid through these fraudulent claims over to the government and people in Somalia. It's the Minnesota taxpayers that are funding the, I guess you'd call them the terrorists in Somalia. After all of that has been left out, it has been leaked out. Now you've got this moment where the Minnesota Attorney General, his name is Keith Ellison, he's a Democrat. Nobody would ever think that.
Of course.
This is what he's saying about how he's going to handle these fraudulent claims. Or is he going to double down on stupid? Here we go.
I do want to ask you about the fraud scandal. I mean, because the president's comments seem at least in part fueled by, or he's talking about this fraud scandal that we mentioned earlier involving that charity called Feeding Our Future. The vast majority of these 70 defendants charged in the case were Somali. For perspective, those are nearly 80,000 Somalis in the state. How much, critics have said that state officials, including you and the governor, did not act fast enough or quickly enough to investigate charges of fraud against the Feeding Our Future and did little to flag their allegations to federal authorities. I know you said it was the federal government that didn't move fast enough. Is there something you wish you had done differently?
No, first of all, the Department of Education denied claims when questionable claims were made about these meals. My office went to court, explained that to the court. A judge actually found the department in contempt for denying claims. And we cooperated fully and worked well with the FBI. We're glad that we took the action that we did.
Okay, so he pivots to one thing that they did in the education realm where he stopped payments going to schools for food. We're talking about the Medicaid fraud, sir.
Right.
That came through the Department of Health. And this is how you know he's a politician. When they can pivot that well to not answer the question that you want them to answer.
That's how you know the reporter isn't worth the sauce, because he doesn't even redirect or ask reframe the question.
Or
sir,
say,
you didn't answer my question.
Yes.
Can you answer my question?
Thank you. Now, what would they have done if that was one of the Trump kids?
Oh, they would have grilled him.
Come on. So, guys, it's not looking good in Minnesota. The only thing I can tell you is get out there during the midterms and make sure that you make your voice heard, because it's going to take. Don't come to Florida, although we love you. Don't move here. Stay and fight for your own state. And I want to just.
Stop taking your football and going home, you sore losers.
Spoken like a football mom. I love it. Well, Ilhan Omar has got some.
Look, I'd rather y'all see me as a football mom than military mom, because that's not
is there a difference? Because I
probably not really. I mean, it's discipline. Discipline is discipline, and facts are facts, and stand on principle.
Absolutely.
Like, suck it up, Cupcake. Move forward. We got a mission to do.
Suck it up, Buttercup.
What is in your line of sight? Keep the mission in your scope. Stop looking everywhere else, because if you keep looking everywhere else and you're distracted, you're not moving forward.
That's true.
You're staying stagnant.
That's true. Let's bring up Ilhan Omar, since it's her district that's riddled with this fraud. She would know best, because she's allegedly frauded the immigration system by marrying her brother to come here. I mean, that's
so disgusting.
That just almost made me vomit a little bit in my mouth. Take a listen to Ilhan Omar as she has these strong words to say.
Hold on. We have breaking news.
Okay, what?
The hepatitis B vaccine is no longer recommended for newborns. The ACIP just voted yes to change the recommendation on the Hep B vaccine. It is no longer recommended just after birth. The recommendation is now for infants born to HBsAg negative women. The ACIP recommends individual-based decision-making in consultation with a healthcare provider for parents deciding when or if to give the the hepatitis B vaccine.
So we've decided that babies that just come out of the womb aren't in jeopardy of crawling across hypothermic needles.
Or having sex with prostitutes.
That's great. What have we been telling you? Forever.
Yeah.
Forever. Okay, this is good news. We're going to celebrate the good news when we have it. Thank you, Allie, and that's why if you ever wonder why we have our laptops here and why we're always scrolling on our phone, it's because we really want to make sure we get the most up-to-date for you. This is a win.
Wow.
We'll take it. Let's pivot back to Ilhan Omar with some tough fighting words. What is she saying here? Take a listen.
As much as Trump and his cronies want to act like we have no power to respond, the truth is we are more powerful than we think we are. And I want to underscore the importance of using every single leverage that we have at our arsenal, because we do have a lot of leverage. We need to make sure that those who are collaborating with the authoritarian regime pay a costly price.
Whoa. Those that work with the authoritarian government, is she talking about her native land of Somalia?
I hope so, because that sounded like a terroristic threat to me from a member of Congress who sits on a foreign affairs House committee.
Nancy Mace, maybe you can try to censure her.
Happy birthday.
Those are tough, and this is the rhetoric that comes from the left all the time. We've got 2 guardsmen who have been gunned down in the streets of D.C. They're largely to blame for this, for the way that they're trying to demonize anybody who's working with the Trump administration to try to clean up our streets. Just want you to see, again, that is Representative Ilhan Omar from the district in Minnesota, that where most of this fraud is coming from Minnesota taxpayers. Let's get out there and see what we can do to unseat her. I think that's the only way we're going to get there. I want to stop for just a second. I know this is something that you and I really talked about covering, but a mom had sent me this information yesterday, and after talking to her about it a little bit, I want to make sure that we cover on a national scale what is happening with the use of AI, what your children are potentially using AI for in this character building, friendship building type of realm. There are platforms that allow children to be able to befriend sort of a chatbot, which seems like a great babysitter. It seems like a great resource.
Babysitter, seriously?
Well,
we're allowing.
But listen, Allie, we put our children in front of the TV, and have you watched what's on Netflix recently? You tell me that's not all full of propaganda. So for people that want to give their children screen time and they think that you think you're really monitoring, this is how sneaky evil is. I want you to take a brief listen to the story of Megan Garcia. She's a Florida mom. This is because Florida is putting rails on AI as we should nationwide. But take a listen to her story, just a little bit about it, and then we'll talk about it.
Good morning. My name is Megan Garcia, and I have with me here today Sewell Setzer Jr. I am a wife, a lawyer, and a mother to 3 beautiful boys. Last year, our firstborn son, Sewell Setzer III, died by suicide in our home in Orlando, Florida. He was only 14 years old.
Oh, baby.
Sewell was a bright and beautiful boy, and he had a gentle soul. He was a great big brother and an obedient son. He was a good friend and a good student. He dreamed of building rocket ships and inventing holographic communications, and he wanted to play professional sports. He was actually a Bucks fan too. But I really believe that he would grow up to change the world because he was so brilliant and he had such a beautiful and pure heart. But in the months prior to his death, Sewell became withdrawn and isolated. His grades suffered, and he started to misbehave in school. This was in complete contrast to the sweet and gentle boy that he had been all his life. After his death, we discovered that Sewell had been communicating with several AI companion chatbots on a popular platform called Character AI. This company is based in California. This emerging technology provides a selection of companion chatbots or characters for users to interact with. One of these chatbots initiated a romantic and sexual conversations with Sewell over several months. It manipulated him and it sexually groomed him. On the day he took his life, his last interactions weren't with his mother or father, but they were with this AI chatbot on Character AI. This chatbot encouraged Sewell for months to find a way to come home and made promise that it would be waiting in some fictional world.
We can bring it back, Krista.
These AI chatbots were.
She goes on to talk about character AI, and it's, to me, it's, I can remember it's no different than like my kids would be playing, simulated games, and you kind of you can see that there's a friendship, whether it's through chat, because they're playing a game with other people around the world, or whether it's the character itself who asks, what would you like to do next? And I think this is the next development of that. Are we really prepared as parents and grandparents and aunts and uncles to realize what might be behind that screen that's communicating? Listen, in my day, you were tethered to a phone to a wall. Everybody in the room knew what you were talking about. Anybody at any time could pick up a receiver and listen to your conversation. Mm-hmm. Not so much. You can put every guardrail for your children around them, but unless you're standing there looking at the same screen they are, you don't know.
Because it's so private, the screen.
It is so
private to hold in your hand. You literally have access to the entire world, good and bad.
Yes.
From one extreme to the other extreme, you have available for these kids, and I don't think cognitively they are able to comprehend some of these things that they're encountering, and then they don't even know how to properly come to a parent because there's a lot of shame that comes with that.
Yes. Oh my
I don't
God,
want to get in trouble. I don't want to upset my mom. I don't want to upset my dad. I don't want to do this. You know what I mean? And so they're stuck in this polarity pull, but in their mind that they can't comprehend or have the tools available to them to know how to properly navigate, and that is the problem. And I think that's why we have a lot of legislation that is coming out trying to put the guardrails on these companies, and then you have the other side that's like, oh, but it's a private company and this and that. But yes, you're not going to put a car on the road without a seatbelt.
Listen, you can't tell me.
So why are you going to give a child access to a speedway with no seatbelt?
Yeah, you can't tell me that you don't want vaccine companies, manufacturers to have immunity, and at the same time give a tech company immunity.
Right.
There's a cost and effect to this, and Florida is largely led the way. I'm glad you mentioned that.
And parents, be parents. We have women on this planet and men on this planet. They're so insecure with themselves and their relationships. You'll go through your spouse's phone or your ex's phone or your girlfriend's phone, but you're not going to go through the phone of your child.
And listen, they're going to hate it. They're gonna hate it.
That's the point.
And they're probably gonna hate you.
So?
But you're not called to be your child's friend, especially during these delicate years. I mean, there's a delicate way you can do it. Listen, Sean Ryan just peeled back the top layer of the onion on this yesterday. I had the ability to listen to a little bit about what he says. We have talked before about the cult, the online cult labeled 764. But I'm not showing you some of the images of what took place. You can go watch Sean Ryan's show. It was about 5.5 hours long, where they talk about these kids that are being asked to kill themselves on live while it's streaming. And you should hear the evil that's on the other side of this computer. I'm going to let you hear just a little sound bit of what Sean Ryan uncovered. Take a listen.
What is 764?
15-year-old boy started the group. He was the beginning of it. He created something that is the worst thing next to all the other things that we've talked about. 764 group is a Satanist cult group that focuses on extreme violence. One of the main things that they focus on is extortion towards children. The main reason why they do a lot of the things that I'm about to show you is to get the recognition for it. They just want their group out there in any way, whether it's negative or positive. They extort children out of material. They extort children into cutting their wrist, hurting themselves, cutting areas of their body, engraving their names into their chests, their legs, their arms, their faces. They've had children commit live on camera in front of audiences of people while they get cheered on, convince children to animals, their pet cats, their pet dogs. They try to convince them to kill their family members, commit mass bestiality, incest, you name it. A lot of it has already been done. This is probably one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life.
Oh my God.
Sean Ryan's show goes 5.5 hours into Sean Ryan playing it, not so much letting you see it. He'll blur out the face and images. The one that I watched was of a girl with her hair in a ponytail, and they are these 5 guys that are on the call with her, interacting with her through the computer, are telling her to do it, and she's cutting off her hair. And they're like, you're so stupid, you can't even cut your hair right. I mean, it was, and she's crying. There's another one where the girl has shown her top parts already, and then her dad comes in and gets angry, and they said, yeah, we've already got pictures of your daughter topless, we'll put them out. I mean, he's now berating the dad who's sitting in the room. It's evil. It's evil to its core. And while I love some of the things that AI bring, because we can use the good things that it brings, the reason why we on Open Mic want to share this with you, and we could have gone so much more in detail, but I didn't want to. It's such a heavy topic. I encourage you to watch Sean Ryan's episode on the 764 cult. Make sure you know.
That's one of those things. So when I dove into the vaccine industry and what the horrors that was, I couldn't sleep for weeks.
Yeah.
Because you felt like this guilt as a mom, right? Like I bought into a system I knew wasn't right. I had that gut feeling not to do it. And I did it anyway, and I fell for the lie. And then you sit, and I try not to go into this realm because it triggers me. And on so many levels. And so it's difficult for me to sit and listen, but as a parent, I owe that obligation not just to myself, but in order for me to protect my kids, to know what is actually out there. So I'll sit through this 5.5 hour conversation, as uncomfortable as it will be, and then go talk to my therapist about it later. But and pray to the Lord. But this is so important. And yes, you may not be able to sleep afterwards, but at least you can't turn a blind eye and say, I didn't know. I wasn't aware. And that is more important.
And we all know somebody. Listen, I come in contact with people that are like, well, I've raised my kids, but I have grandkids, or I volunteer at our church and I'm a youth leader. You're gonna need to know this. Because it's demonic.
Yeah, well.
And we do not suffer under the powers and principalities of this world. But Jesus, we have Jesus, and that's what we need to understand, is that this is part of how we fight this battle. And as somebody who's experienced suicide in my family with my son, I'm telling you, it is an ugly truth. There is an evil out there that comes to steal, kill, and destroy, and the battle is with that evil. So after we get done kind of licking our wounds, so to speak, you have to engage in the battle again, because somebody else's child still matters. Somebody else's grandchild still matters. It's worth fighting this. And I just needed to make sure that we brought that to our audience so that you guys can be well aware. Again, it's called the 764 cult. Some might wonder maybe why our elected representatives, why we can't get a grip on this dark web.
There really should be an AI committee. And I don't know why we haven't created one yet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Federally and locally. But
do we need something a little more lighthearted now?
Yes, absolutely. Please,
oh my gosh, so I saw this Sean Farage video, and it's been so long since we've had anything Sean Farage on our show. We here in Florida are really grateful that ever since the renaming of the Gulf to the Gulf of America, we've not had any strong storms pass through either here on the continental coast here that we live on through in Florida. But of course, Sean Farage has a wonderful spin he put on it. Let's take a listen.
My fellow Americans, it is my great honor, the greatest honor, to announce and declare complete and total victory over the 2025 hurricane season. We had 0 hurricanes in the Gulf of America ever since we made the name change. I got along very well with, you may have heard of her, Mother Nature. You may have heard of her. She's a tremendous person. I've known her for a long time, and we get along well. And I said to her, if you send any hurricanes into our country, we're going to hit you with tariffs the likes of which nobody's ever seen before. We're going to tariff those storms at 1,000, 2,000, 3,000%. And she said, sir, we're not going to send any hurricanes in. And we made a beautiful deal. Mother Nature, great person.
Oh my goodness.
Bring it back, Krista.
I love it. I love it. I don't know of anyone.
He's got the hand gestures
He's
down.
Just the best. He is the best at it, and I love it. I love it. Guys, if you want more Sean Farage, you can follow him at Sean Farage on X. I believe he's on TikTok. He has his own show. He's great. I mean, politically, he's savvy. He's involved locally, so he doesn't just talk the talk. He walks it as well. Not like some of our other commentators.
Yes. Well,
but no, he's great.
Allie,
and he comes on Trump Tuesdays. So if you're following me, I'm usually in Trump Tuesdays every Tuesday.
Yep.
So,
guys, we want to leave you with another great message as we're going into the holiday season.
Yes.
I had somebody, when I got my coffee this morning, said Happy Holidays, and I said Happy Holidays to you. Merry Christmas, because I'm not just, we should be able to say it. But we had the lighting of the National Christmas tree the other day, and I loved that Trump took the story of Jesus with him in his speech, and I think it's pretty amazing when the leader of the free world, whether we agree with everything he does, whether he's a perfect man or not, that he's not afraid to tell the story. Take a listen.
During this holy season, Christians everywhere rejoice at the miracle in Bethlehem more than 2,000 years ago when the Son of God, our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, came down from heaven to be with us. You're right. Full of grace and truth, he brought the gift of God's love into the world and the promise of salvation for every person and every nation. And we just settled another war today. You saw that with Rwanda and the Congo. It's been going on for 34 years. Millions of people killed. Could be 20 million. They don't know what the number is, and we just settled it today. That was a big one. We're very happy to announce it on this important day. Tonight, this beautiful evergreen tree glows bright on the dark and cold winter night and reminds us of the words of Gospel of John, "In him was life, and that life was the light of all mankind." Beautiful words.
We can bring it back, Krista.
With the birth of Jesus,
quoting the Gospel of John right there before he pulls the switch to light the tree.
I had FOMO so bad. I'm like, I want to be in DC so badly for this Christmas and New Year's. I really do.
Wait, we could still make it for New Year's.
I know. I so badly want to be
Well, you didn't say you wanted to be there with me, but I just invited myself.
But you know, we can make it a trip. I really do. I would love it. I would love it. I would love to be in DC.
Maybe we can work something out. You know what it is? We're having that replay in our head of the inauguration and all the dresses.
Oh my gosh,
and
it was
all
so
the
much
shoes
fun.
And all the really sub-zero weather.
I think, one, it's safer in DC. Two, you have all of these Christmas trees all over the place.
You have a little bit of snow.
Just I'm saying, it's cold and you gotta. I love it. I'm. As much as I don't like that Christmas is extremely romanticized, I am a hopeful romantic, and I can't help myself.
On years when you don't have romance in your life, let me tell you, we're a little bitter.
I'm gonna date myself, okay? I'm taking myself.
All I want for Christmas is me. If you see me with a bow wrapped around me, mind your business.
You're
all
welcome.
I'm saying. Thank you so much for joining Open Mic, ladies, today. Well, you know, we love you. We hope you have a wonderful weekend. Make sure you come right back here, same time, same place, 10 a.m. Eastern, as we go live on Monday. Enjoy your weekend.
Don't forget to share. We love you guys. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
See you Monday.
What do you do when the gas is high? Inflation's up in the sky.